Namaste, I am Tejaswini and welcome to Astrology and Dharma. Mercury is the agent of thought and the analytical process, and he is perhaps the biggest challenge for us humans at this point of time. Mercury is the agent of all sorts of communications, databases, number crunching, stock markets, global finances, and also the juvenile chit chat, the nitpicking, and the gossiping. He is the foremost planet of our times as our lives are now online and we are always in communication. If your Mercury is capable of giving favorable results, then you can potentially become another Mark Zuckerberg or at least a social media influencer or earn money through stocks or become a good writer or a journalist. But if he is not auspicious, then he can cause so many issues. So open your horoscope and locate your birth Mercury. Then locate the third house from your birth Mercury. That is, if your birth Mercury is in Aries, then the third from Aries would be Gemini. This is the location where your thoughts and mental processes get tangled up. This sign, this house, and the planets in this third house from Mercury give birth to unending thoughts which demand mental attention and cannot be stopped so easily. If this third house from Mercury is vacant, then it is better as the mind functions without the baggage of preconceived notions. You are more open to ideas and can truly engage with others. Genuine give and take of opinions is possible. But if there is any planet placed in the third house from Mercury, then he will create uncontrollable loops of thought in your mind. So let us see how the planets work when placed in the third house from the birth Mercury. First, the Sun. The Sun is the source of divine intelligence and creativity. But when he is placed in the third house from Mercury, he tends to give egoistic thought patterns. You are more focused on how you can showcase yourself. Self-centered and selfish thoughts can dominate your mind. Also, the artistic genius is affected. True elegance, refinement, and class is generally replaced by cheapness and artificialness. This combination of the Sun placed third from Mercury can be a tough one, so do pay attention to your thought patterns and control them in time. Next, the Moon. The Moon is your mind, and if he is placed third from the birth Mercury, he gives a mind which cannot focus on one topic for long. It wanders from object to object. And with the internet, today there are infinite objects available at your fingertips. The mind actually needs comfort and emotional security. But in this position, this can be difficult. This moon charges your every thought with emotion, and this can create anxiety, eventually a fear of emotional loneliness. So with such a moon, do keep a tight control over your thoughts and emotions. This is possibly the most difficult to handle Moon-Mercury interaction. Then Mars is the vitality of the personality. He is your confidence, your passion. But when he is placed third from the birth Mercury, he creates patterns of aggressive thoughts. You are constantly thinking of strategies and ways to compete and crush the opposition. It can become an all-consuming loop as you cannot stop thinking of winning all the time. The first thought in your mind when you meet anyone is to try to dominate them in some way or the other. And too much of this thought level aggression eventually leads to mental stress. But there is a silver lining. If you can control the direction of the Mars thoughts and channelize them systematically, you can become an exceptionally focused sports person or excel at whatever you do. Then Jupiter is the force of wisdom and knowledge. When he is placed third from Mercury, you tend to think of philosophy all the time. Ideas and concepts flow into your mind and you try to make sense of the situations around you in a philosophical manner. But these thoughts generally do not have any practical significance. Thus, you often do not give your best in real life situations where you are required to behave in a pragmatic and practical manner. If you can channelize this Jupiter thought energy only to specific situations, for example, when you are writing a book on maybe philosophy or delivering lectures in similar-minded circles, then you can really make use of this combination. If you have Saturn placed in the third house from Mercury, then he generally gives oppressive thought patterns. You may have to deal with negative themes like bitterness and restriction and depression in your mind. You might feel that you are not being valued for the work you do or that you are alone in the world. Dealing with this Saturnine energy requires that you create a daily schedule and stick to it. As you organize your day, you will feel more in control of yourself and the situations around you. And with time, all the Saturn-linked worries will vanish from your thought. Next is Rahu. If you have Rahu in the third house from your Mercury, you wish to do everything at once. The people you have met, the things you have done throughout the day, they keep on running through your mind. Your mind does not want to let go of any ideas, any emotions. The best solution for this Rahu is to do pranayam. If you do pranayam with the mantra Soham, your Rahu related problems of the thoughts and desires running a loop in your mind will stop. Ketu, if placed in the third house from Mercury, causes a sense of detachment in life. You feel a sense of unreality in your private thoughts, and your thoughts are often blank, but there are flashes of pure genius in that blankness. And again, it is difficult to actually focus on your thoughts. They come and go like the smoke Ketu represents. The best solution for this Ketu is to keep a diary and jot down the ideas that flash into your mind. Just a couple of words here and there. It will be a bit difficult to begin with, but do stick to this routine. You will notice the difference in 21 days. If you are aware of the problem, only then you will try to find the solution. So the best use of Jyotish Shastra is for self-analysis and self-improvement. Thus utilize this information on Mercury and the loops of thought that he creates in your mind and change yourself for the better. You always have a choice. You are conscious and you have a will. You just have to intend the change you desire and it will happen. Astrology teaches us to analyze our own selves in baby steps, learn to use Jyotish as an empowering tool and choose to change. And the best part with Mercury is that you can think yourself back to your real self. Thank you for watching. Namaste.